Class 11th NCERT reading audiobook chapter number 1 The Living World. How wonderful is the living world. The wide range of living types is amazing. The extraordinary habitat in which we find living organisms, be it cold mountains, deciduous forest, ocean, freshwater lakes, deserts or hot springs, leave us speechless. The beauty of a galloping horse, of the migrating birds, the valley of flowers, or the attacking shark evokes awe and a deep sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population and among populations of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside a cell, makes us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. The question has two implicit questions within it. The first is a technical one and seek answer to what living is as opposed to the non-living, and the second is a philosophical one and seeks answer to what the purpose of life is. As a scientist, we shall not attempt answering the second question. We will try to reflect on what is living. Diversity in the living world. If you look around you, will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, your pet, or other animals and plants. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observation in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number and kinds of living organism in it. Each different kind of plant, animal, organism that you see represent a species. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to the biodiversity or the number and types of organism present on Earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plant and animals in our own area by their local name. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably you would recognize the confusion that would be created if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other to refer to organism we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedures to assign a scientific name to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plant, scientific names are based on the agreed principles and criteria which are provided in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN). You may ask, how are animals named? Animal taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature (ICZN). The scientific name ensures that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should enable the people in any part of the world to arrive at the same time. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other non-organism. Biologists follow universally accepted principle to provide scientific name to known organisms. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithet. This system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system was given by Carolus Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a two-word format was found convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way of providing scientific names better. The scientific name of mango is written as Mangifera indica. Let us see how it is a binomial name. In this name, Mangifera represent the genus, while indica is a particular species or a specific epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. Number 1. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. Number 2. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. Number 3. Both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. Number 4. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. It can be illustrated with the example of Mangifera indica. Name of the author appears after the specific epithet, that is, at the end of the biological name, and is written in an abbreviated form. For example, Mangifera indica Linn. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants or animals or dog, cat, insect. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Obviously, each one of us will see dogs and not cats. Now, if we were to think of Alsatians, we know what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we were to say mammals, you would of course think of animals with external ears and body hairs. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plant, not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cat, mammal, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we use to study organism. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa. But you know that a dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals and dogs represent a taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is a taxonomy. External and internal structure, along with the structure of cell, development process, and ecological information of organisms are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the processes that are basic to taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with reference to their own use. In early days, human beings needed to find sources for their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. Hence, the earliest classification were based on the uses of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more and about different kind of organisms and their diversities, but also the relationship among them. The branch of study was referred to as the systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organism. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as a title of his publications. The scope of systematic was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematic takes into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. Taxonomic categories. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or category. Since the categories are part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category, referred to as a unit of classification, in fact represent a rank and is commonly termed as a taxon. Taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. Insects represent a group of organisms sharing common features like three pairs of jointed legs. It means insects are recognizable concrete object which can be classified and thus were given a rank or category. Can you name other such group of organisms? Remember, groups represent a category. Category further denotes rank. Each rank or taxon in fact represent a unit of classification. These taxonomic group categories are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomic studies of all non-organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum or division for plants, class, order, family, genus and species. All organisms including those in the plant and animal kingdoms have species as the lowest category. Now the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. The basic requirement is a knowledge of character of an individual or group of organisms. This helps in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individuals of same kind of organism as well as of other kinds of organism. Species. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on the distinct morphological differences. Let us consider Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum which is potato and Panthera leo which is lion. All the three names indica, tuberosum and leo, they represent the specific epithet. While the first word Mangifera, Solanum and Panthera, these are the genera and represent another higher level of taxon or category. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organisms but having morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigris and Solanum includes species like nigrum and melanogena. Human beings belong to the species sapiens which is grouped in the genus Homo. The scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapien. Genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species, but both belong to the genus Solanum. Lion, which is Panthera leo, and leopard, which is Panthera pardus, and tiger, Panthera tigris, with several common features, are all species of the genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus Felis, which include cat. Family. The next category, family, has a group of related genera with a still less number of similarities as compared to the genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive feature of plant species. Among plant, for example, three different genera, that is Solanum, Petunia and Datura, are placed in the family. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plants, for example, three different genera, Solanum, Petunia and Datura, are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera, comprising lion, tiger, leopard, is put along with genus Felis, cats, in the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of a cat and a dog, you will find some similarities and some differences as well. They are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae respectively. Order. You have seen earlier that categories like species, genus, and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on the aggregates of characters. Order being a higher categories is the assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. The similar characters are less in number as compared to different genera included in the family. Plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. The animal order Carnivora include families like Felidae and Canidae. Class. These categories includes related order. For example, order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla and gibbon is placed in class Mammalia along with the order Carnivora that includes animals like tiger, cat and dog. Class Mammalia has other order also. Phylum. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds along with mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. All these based on common features like presence of notochord and a dorsal hollow neural system are included in the phylum Chordata. In case of plant, classes with a few similar characters are assigned to a higher category called division. Kingdom. All animals belonging to various phyla are assigned to the highest category called kingdom Animalia in the classification system of animals. The kingdom Plantae on the other hand is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups as animals and plant kingdom. The taxonomic categories from species to kingdom have been shown in ascending order starting with species in figure 1.1. These are broad categories. However, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in this hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placement of various taxa. Look at the hierarchy in figure 1.1. Can you recall the basis of arrangement? Say for example, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Lower the taxa, more are the characteristics that the members within the taxon share. Higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship to the other taxa at the same level. Hence, the problem of classification becomes more complex. Figure 1.1. Taxonomic categories showing hierarchical arrangement in ascending order. Species is the basic taxon or basic unit of classification. Above species, genus is present. Genus is lower category than family. Family make order. Group of order form class. Group of class form phylum for animals and division for plant. Phylum or division form kingdom, that is animal kingdom or plantae kingdom, that is highest category or highest taxon. Table 1.1. It is organism with their taxonomic categories. It representing some animals with their category rank. Common name man. Biological name for man is Homo sapiens. Genus Homo. Family Hominidae. Order Primata. Class Mammalia or phylum Chordata. Housefly Musca domestica. Genus Musca. Family Muscidae. Order Diptera. Class Insecta. Phylum Arthropoda. Mango common name. Biological name Mangifera indica. Genus Mangifera. Family Anacardiaceae. Order Sapindales. Class Dicotyledon. Division Angiospermae. Common name wheat. Biological name Triticum aestivum. Genus Triticum. Family Poaceae. Order Poales. Class Monocotyledon. Division Angiosperm. Summary. The living world is rich in variety. Millions of plants and animals have been identified and described, but a large number still remains unknown. The very range of organism in terms of size, color, habitat, physiological and morphological features make us seek the defining characteristic of living organism. In order to facilitate the study of kinds and diversity of organisms, biologists have evolved certain rules and principles for identification, nomenclature, and classification of organisms. The branch of knowledge dealing with these aspects is referred to as taxonomy. The taxonomic study of various species of plants and animals are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general for knowing our bioresources and their diversity. The basics of taxonomy, like identification, naming, and classification of the organisms, are universally evolved under international code. Based on the resemblance and distinct differences, each organism is identified and assigned a correct scientific or biological name comprising two words as per the binomial system of nomenclature. An organism represents or occupies a place or position in the system of classification. There are many categories or ranks and are generally referred to as taxonomic categories or taxa. All the categories constitute a taxonomic hierarchy. End of the chapter. Thank you.